And welcome to Trailblazers Courtside here on this Monday night from our Moda Center studios. Mike Barrett, Mike Rice, and obviously Meyers Leonard in studio with us for a little bit. Meyers, thanks for the time tonight on an off night here on a nice hot night. I guess it could be worse. You could be sweating outside in the 95-degree heat.
It could be worse, and it also could be worse because our air conditioning broke in our house.
Oh,
it's been a nightmare sleeping in it. We try to trap the cold air in. We'll open the windows at night and then try to trap it in there, but it hasn't worked.
No, it only works for a couple minutes.
Exactly.
We got to get somebody on that.
Yeah, Wednesday. They're coming.
Wednesday. All right.
So,
All right.
I wish it could have been sooner.
This probably isn't the best time to have it die.
No kidding.
The hot weather may be gone by that time. Most people really don't have air conditioning in Oregon.
That's not true.
Because you don't have that many 90-degree days.
No, yeah.
Like in the Midwest, you have big flies.
Yeah, but you got all kinds of stuff back there. How hot does it get back in Robinson?
Well, I can remember it was just before I got drafted, so about 3 summers ago, it was an average of about 108 or something crazy heat index. We couldn't have the 4th of July because of the town. I mean, it was just dry. And then you get all the seasons there. So,
but before we get to the playoffs and your role this season, we bring up your hometown. Now, how you and I did a thing at Horizon Christian the other day, and we were talking about growing up and the town. How is it when you go back now? I mean, how big is the town? You said it's pretty small, right?
Right around 7,000 people. I mean, it's really small, but I love it there. Honestly, I do. It's cool to be back. Most people, it's just, hi, Myers, how are you? And they're not asking for autographs or pictures. So obviously some of the little ones, get pretty excited when they see me. But I actually got my camp coming up. I'll be leaving here in about 2.5 weeks to go back home. Be my second summer in a row. So that's the really neat thing to be able to give back. And that's in the town? Yeah, back in Robinson, to be able to give back and be around the kids. And
is it a basketball hotbed?
Well, actually, Kim comes with me, so that's special.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But when you pull into the town, it doesn't say "Welcome to Robinson, home of."
It does.
Does it?
Yeah, they did a sign 2 years ago, I think it was.
That's cool.
And the guy who does it for me is a good buddy of mine, and I keep bugging him about giving me the key to the city, but we'll see when that happens.
You don't have the key yet?
Not yet.
All right.
Well, he just started really playing well this past year.
That's true.
I'm surprised they gave him a sign 2 years ago. Now you deserve a sign, but
I suppose. Sounds like you're a critic, but that's fine.
You think?
Yeah.
But when you grow up on a town like that and you go through the recruiting process and whatnot, when the colleges started, what was the level of basketball back there as far as your high school goes? I mean, from some of the videos we've seen, and I know we have a video of you dunking in high school that kind of made it rounds on YouTube. It looks like big crowds, nice gym. I mean, kind of a
luckily when I was coming in, it was my 8th grade year. They built a brand new gym. I think it was $5 million or $10 million. So, I mean, it's nice. Holds 2,500, 3,000 people. So, that's big for a small town. Graduating class of about 125. So, we'd have good crowds. And, certainly we made the state championship run. So our place would always be packed every night. And generally everywhere we went on the road, people would be there to see us play. So, that senior year was pretty cool.
And when you get your big contract, they'll put a wing on that gym. Meyers Leonard.
We'll see.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah. Well, with my camp money, actually, I give back to athletics and the academic foundation and my church and all different things.
That's good.
Yeah.
So when you were going, you were recruited by Illinois. Is there anywhere that was it close or was it automatically Illinois?
It wasn't really close, honestly. I actually had to wait for Illinois to offer. It was crazy. I went through, and there was so many people offering me and, letters in the mail every day and different AAU tournaments, different camps. And I was telling these guys, like, I'm waiting for you, but, I guess they wanted to see more, but which is fine. So
were you a big AAU guy that went around?
All over the circuit, and I was very fortunate to be able to do the Amar Stoudemire camp and the LeBron James Skills Academy, whatever it was called, and got some more exposure there. And then I kind of switched teams, was on bigger stage, more, I guess, notoriety from that team, and but I shut it down my sophomore summer going into my junior year. So I committed as soon as they offered. I was pretty like.
And when did they offer? Your junior year?
Summer before. So I would have been, 17 or 18 at the time, maybe.
Yeah.
So when we talked about how the pre-draft workouts are going on right now, and you've been to see some of them, and I know Darrell has been there, and a couple of other guys have been there as well. That process, when you were going through, I watched your pre-draft workout. Mike and I were both there. Yeah. You had a great workout for the Blazers. I think after that we knew what would be happening come draft day. They would try to get you, and did. Was that a tough process, though, that pre-draft workout? Because you were talking with me the other day about it and said that popping in and out of towns and going in front of the different teams and not knowing what to expect, and in some cases not know who you're going up against. Was it weird?
Yeah, sure. I actually started in Portland and ended up doing 11 of them, and it doesn't seem like that much, but I'd fly back to New York, work out. I was working out 3 times a day there in preparation for the draft, Monday through Friday, and then once on Saturday. I was bouncing all over the place, but after Portland, I liked it out here, and then I went to different places. And honestly, I didn't know Portland was going to draft me until draft night.
They didn't say anything to you?
I thought I had really good meetings and sit-downs with them, both in Portland when I came here to work out and in Chicago. And then again, you meet with different teams, and, I thought all of that went well. But it's an interesting process. It's
And where did you think you would be drafted on draft night? Who did you have?
I was basically told 9 to 15 was kind of my range, depending on, if a guy slid, to the later part of the lottery, or if, someone else needed something different, that would be the case. So it was, 9 to 15, and, luckily I've landed here, and I love it here. I really do.
Is that the night you brought the engagement ring when you knew that you were –
No, that wasn't. But Ellie was there with me. She was one of the, I don't know, 8 people total at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it a little later, but you're getting married this summer, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, But the cool thing about it is, when you think about it, she was there from the beginning. Sometimes
absolutely.
people say, oh, now, that you're big and famous and getting the big contracts. But, hey, she was there when you didn't have anything.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Oh, he's always had something.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. So.
There she is. There's Ellie. Just we got to get a quick.
There she
now,
is.
Now, what does she think of the people that hold the signs up? Will you marry me?
The proposals, yes.
The proposals.
The attention from the opposite sexes has to be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Well, she's used to it at this point, I think. There's nothing I can do about it, and there's nothing she can do about it. So, and she knows that,
it's kind of fun.
Well, yeah. Sure. And I'm totally head over heels for her, and we're getting married this summer. So,
right. Where are you going? Right. That's exactly right. We kind of talked. We started backwards, and when we come back from the break, I want to talk more about this last season.
Sure.
And the end of the season in particular, and some huge games you had, and in the playoffs. Not that it was unexpected, but to burst on like you did, put up the numbers you did, and the defense you played was terrific. We'll get into more of that. Meyers Leonard, our guest here on Trailblazers Courtside. We'll be back right after this. Kind of a scorcher for early June in the Portland area, about 95 outside. But welcome back, Trailblazers Courtside. Nice and chilly inside Moda Center. Meyers Leonard, our guest. Mike Barrett, Mike Rice with Trailblazers Courtside. Meyers, talk about the opportunity and I don't want to say frustration, but the when you go through a period when you start out in the NBA, they always say, okay, big men take a little time. But you had opportunities, and then you wouldn't get them for a while, and you weren't really. You didn't know night to night when your opportunity would come. You try and stay ready, and it seemed like late in the season, and you had good performances early as well, but really late, things seemed to, as you and I talked about, I think, last year, maybe the year before, and it's cliche, but the game slowed down for you.
Sure, absolutely. Like you said, it was frustrating at times, especially first and second year, just because I was young, trying to figure things out. I wanted to play. I thought I could do more, and I just had to learn. And then obviously this past year, the way I ended it, and sometimes throughout the year, and then the playoffs, it was an exciting time to be out there, and I'm just happy that I kind of stepped up to the plate, I guess, and played well. There's obviously a lot of things I can continue to do to get better and help this team, but it was fun. Ellie even caught me one time during the playoffs. I walked out and I just had this big grin on my face. It was right after a timeout, and it was. In the midst of a playoff game, and I just kind of have this grin on my face, like, wow, this is truly amazing. But, it was just trying to do what I could to help, and
now
glad it turned out well.
The way you played in the Memphis series and before that, do you ever think of as far as financially, what this means when you play that well, because everybody has their thoughts about, how much I'm going to make in the NBA, how much am I playing enough to get a good contract? Do you ever think about that, the way you played at the end of the year, how it's going to help you financially?
Honestly, it didn't really cross my mind. I can't say that I don't think about it sometimes. I mean, that's natural. Everyone wants to, think about, their opportunity and what they can make and everything. But, at that time, I was totally locked in on, our scouting report in Memphis and what I could do to exploit them when we're on offense and how I could, try to prove to people that I can stop a five, like a Gasol or Randolph, and then be able to switch off onto like a Jeff Green. So, being able to do multiple things within the series, it was pretty cool, honestly. Stretching the floor to three, running the court, trying to get finishes at the rim, defending Gasol, particularly in Game 4.
Yes.
It was pretty cool for all that to kind of come around. It's been a long time coming.
Did you think you had that in you to do that well against, because he's, maybe the top center in the NBA for all the things he does?
I mean, I would consider him the top center, like you said, absolutely. And, to be able to perform against him like I did and against their team, it was pretty awesome. But, no, to answer your question, I definitely knew I could do it. It's more about experience and understanding, what you have to do when you're out there. But, again, I'm glad that I stepped up and had a few big games there. But now it's just into the summer and continuing.
Now, were you surprised, the Oregonian, when they had that poll of the fans, who should the Blazers bring back? You got the number one rating, 97% said bring Meyers Leonard back. Did that surprise you at all?
I think I saw it once on Twitter.
Okay.
But, honestly, I just try to do my best. Obviously on the court is very important, and to show what I could do, throughout the season and in that playoff series was big for me. Even Ellie and I kind of notice it now. Like, more people notice me, more people want to take pictures, which is fine. But no, it's cool that people are kind of embracing me because I truly do love the city. I mean, it's awesome. Not only for the fans, for the team, but for, food, just how kind the people are. And Ellie and I, we love it out here. So.
Do you think maybe, growing up in a town of 7,000 and coming to a market in the NBA that isn't a Manhattan or Los Angeles maybe suits you a little bit?
I would say so. When I got drafted, I was like, man, it's quite literally the furthest city. Even, it's closer further than Toronto. Everywhere from my hometown. So I was like, man, I've never been. I guess I was here for the Hoop Summit, but, I got drafted and I came out here and all of a sudden I started to really, really like it. And then Ellie came out and, she really started to like it. So it's pretty neat that now I've started to perform and, now that I hope I can stick around.
Being young and, people try to pigeonhole you. Okay, he's this, and he's a 5, he's a 4, he's a stretch 4. Well, maybe he can be a 3. And you mentioned guarding Gasol, guarding Jeff Green, then hitting threes at the other end. To try to carve your own niche and maybe define your own role, has that been a little bit of a challenge? And have you kind of done that now?
It was absolutely a challenge. People, because I'm 7 foot and because, I have a pretty good frame, people try to stick me in the box of being a 5. And
yeah.
That obviously wasn't me. I'm just not a bruiser. That's not me. And for people who think I should still be that, too bad.
I tell Barrett that every night. Don't put him in that box.
Yeah. And honestly, Kim is kind of my biggest supporter and critic at sometimes. And he said, don't let people put you in the stretch 4 box either. Yeah. Obviously, I'm very effective doing that throughout some parts of the game, but being able to play 4 and 5, score on the post, score on the perimeter, which I'm working on my post moves a ton right now, and then being able to guard 4 and 5 is very important for me as well. So I call myself a 4.5 from here on out.
4.5, okay.
4.5.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That'll get you some money.
He's awfully concerned about the finances tonight for some reason. But, hey, that's one thing people don't talk a whole lot about, but it is part of it. And maybe more than, if you want to say – talk about that without actually saying money. It maybe you're standing in the NBA, and that's what has changed in the last few months.
Without question, I think I feel a lot more confident. I know that I can be effective. I know I can, shoot when I'm open. Continue again to work on post moves, do whatever I can to help within the flow of our offense. But not only that, the defensive end was the most exciting thing for me to kind of, come alive in. again, guarding a Jeff Green on the perimeter and having to stop him from getting by me and contesting threes, and then going down there and banging with Gasol, who left-hand, right-hand, turnarounds, up and underfix. I mean, the guy is skilled. So now I just have to build on it, watch the film, kind of refresh myself, implement things into open gyms, and then on throughout the summer, training camp, and into next year. So I'm really excited for this summer. I've been working 2-a-days every day for the last 2 weeks. So, I'm getting after it.
Now, earlier when you started shooting so well, everyone started saying, well, he is a stretch four, he's a Channing Frye. But you're saying that if they put that same stretch four that's checking you, that's kind of a shooter and he's not a defender, you're working on it, you can take him underneath and score in the post.
Exactly. That's the idea. Obviously, kind of like you touched on earlier, it takes a little more time, just in general for big guys to develop. But now to implement something new into my game, which I've always worked on my post moves, but not to this extent, and not to be able to, score on, any NBA player for that matter. But
because you got touch underneath.
Sure, and that's the idea is to be able to exploit the fact that they put a smaller format, Jeff Green, Thaddeus Young. One thing that was encouraging that I thought back on, and I try to watch as much film as I can, and going against a guy like Thaddeus Young, I went down in Brooklyn. The game really didn't mean much. Some of our starters didn't come, whatever, but meant a lot to me. I had a big fourth quarter.
You played great in the fourth.
Yeah, I went down to the post, an up and under move, and a little righty hook. So I know it's there. Now I just have to continue to get more comfortable with it, similar to my three. I've known I could shoot, but now this year I had more confidence. I felt better out there with it, and I knew that my teammates and coaches kind of expected and wanted me to do that.
By the way, Channing Frye just signed that contract a couple of years ago, $8 million a year. So
4 years, 32. Yeah.
Yeah, you know all that stuff, huh?
Well, yeah. My head is like
here,
a steel trap. None of this ever leaves my head as soon as I know the info.
You to take it back a little bit before we say goodbye to you. I know you lost your dad at a young age, so male role models have been very, very important to you. With that in mind, how important a guy is Kim Hughes in your life, Blazer assistant coach?
The guy's incredible. You talk about a guy who can, take me under his wing and care for me, but again, on the flip side, be a critic and try to help me improve as much as I can. It's funny, he always tries to just stand away and not take any of the credit. He says, I'm just here to help you, and that's it. And that's what I appreciate about Kim.
And how about your brother, Bailey, who we're watching on the screen right now? This was back when you were at Illinois, and, fans, you can YouTube this if you want. It was really cool. Big Ten Network did it. Surprised you and came home. He was a Marine, and he was in Afghanistan. And this was a really cool moment and something that got shared on YouTube and kind of went viral. But, speaking of male role models, along with Kim, but how's Bailey doing?
He's doing great. When I went back after the season for a couple weeks, I got to visit with him and my mom and other people. But not only that, but my niece, his little daughter. It was really cool. Her whole facial recognition thing starting to kick in, and she recognizes me even now when I FaceTime her now that I've left. So that's really cool. But no, Bailey, again, another incredible guy. We lost our dad. He kind of had to fill that void to some extent, and then he leaves from the Marines. I'm feeling like I'm left out on an island, but it was cool how he kind of, instilled things in me. He comes back from boot camp and he said, I'm going to put you on your back right now, and whatever. A half a second, I said, stop it, and he just, and I'm just right on my back. But no, just continue to learn, discipline and everything like that. And I have a long way to go in all of those areas, but he cares a lot about me, and I appreciate him.
Looking at you, Illinois. You've grown a little since then. You're a little bigger, stronger looking.
I think so. Actually, it's funny you say that. Kim and I were talking the other day, and he brought that up, how I still have time to mature into my body. And I work hard in the weight room, and I want it to come, again, the process. I wanted it to come, now, and sometimes it's just about patience and having faith and continue to work hard. So I'm happy with where I'm at, but now it's now that I've had a taste of it, I really want more, and I really just have to lock in and continue to understand what I can do to succeed.
One more thing we always see on the court, and we're right next to the bench, obviously, so we see this a lot. Chris Kaman.
Oh, boy.
Big-time coach for you, and I know a guy that is a very funny guy and a guy who says what he thinks. How big was he for you, and how is his brutal honesty maybe at times good?
It's absolutely good. I can remember the very first workout I did in Michigan. Kim was with Kaman for, I believe, 7 years with the Clippers, and and with Neil as well. So I think that's why Kim actually came to the Blazers, because they had that relationship. He wanted Kim to work with me. But no, Kaman, I mean, he's been huge. He, again, right from the get-go, he's trying to coach me. I can remember just a simple thing is running into a jump shot. He's like, Meyers, you really have touch and you really understand kind of how to score the ball when you're open. Get into your shot quicker, or be more prepared when the ball comes to you. But not only that, I mean, Kaman's there on and off the court. Every now and then I'll go over to his house, play with his dog, who I love. But hang out with Kaman on the road, go to dinner. But the basketball side of things, I mean, he was crucial for me.
There may be some changes in this Blazer team this summer. Have you thought about that at all? How this team may change?
Honestly, I have to be completely honest. I'm focused on me right now.
Yes.
And it's been hard for me to sometimes do that in the past. Even being in the NBA, it's right now I'm focusing on what can I do to get better for the upcoming season. And then once we get closer to the time of training camp and everything, then I'll start paying attention to who's going to be here, who's not, what I have to do to help the team. But right now it's just
only control what you can control.
Exactly.
Well, and we know you're getting married, so and we want to keep that on track, so we're going to get you out of here. But now what's this I'm hearing about on Rip City Radio? Fans are like pooling together money to buy you a wedding gift?
Yeah, I believe it's called GoFundMe. I've never done it, but I was looking the other day and I was like, this has got to be some type of joke. And
you
then
get steak knives or something, or what?
Who knows?
Some
a cutting board.
right.
I'm sitting on my dock and Ellie walks over and I was like, hey, look at this. This guy donated $10 or something, and she goes and looks up the official thing, and there's 200 some bucks in there. So these people, I mean, the fans are incredible. They love you when you're on the court, but holy smokes, now they're trying to get me a wedding gift.
That'll get you a gravy bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Andy and Taylor on Rip City Radio are doing that in the morning, so
yeah.
it is pretty interesting.
It's really cool.
I wasn't really aware of it, but yeah, fans are chilling out for some dish towels or something for a wedding gift.
Sure.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's been great getting to know you, and
yeah.
we're thrilled for your success late in the season, and bigger and better things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
All right.
And we'll probably never say another bad word about him the rest of his career.
I never have. You on the other hand.